At Rogers Place, After Hours continues now from the Oiler Hall of Fame room. Next to testify is one of the newest Oilers, Adam Henrique. If you take the Reek part from Henrique and add an O to it, you get Rico.
Yeah.
That's how you're known by your teammates, correct?
That is, yeah. Actually, I think Zach Parise came up with it way back when.
In Jersey?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, you know what? This is a very formal show, so we're going with Adam the rest of the way. Brett W. says, Adam, you go by Rico and love Nickelback. You know you're built for Edmonton, right?
And Tim Hortons, he forgot to tweet.
There you go. Gotta love the Tim Hortons,
Absolutely.
right?
Louie.
Well, you know what? You got traded to Edmonton. Where were you when you found out the news that you'd been traded?
So we were actually at the rink, Sam and I, and I knew we had a game that night, which is always odd on trade deadline day, but I knew I wasn't playing at the time in the game, and the only thing I knew that a trade was coming in the next day or two. Not really sure when, but we actually found out in a team meeting, and so in front of everybody, and then the coach had a lot of nice things to say about both of us, and but it is a hard time. It can be emotional, and for the whole group, not just us as players, and moving on to different teams. And, guys are sad to see you leave, but at the same time, they're excited to see guys have an opportunity to win. So we had a little bit of a delay finding out where we were going, which was a little bit tough. But, shortly after, we found out we were coming to Edmonton, and we were both very excited.
Adam, would you agree that your first game with a new team is kind of like your first day of school?
Yeah, exactly. First day of school, you know what? You're nervous. You don't really know.
Let's have a look at yours.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Look at that.
You look excited.
A lovely. Mom kind of gave me a backpack, I guess.
Yeah, well, that was you back in the mid-'90s, and I just want to remind you of one thing. You're about 30 years away from going back to that elastic waistband.
That's a scary thought. That's a scary thought. I still feel like I'm like 25.
Yeah. Usually lost in the
That's
lost in the hoopla of the trade is the family, and your wife Lauren had given birth to your daughter Sophie 9 days before the deal was made. Louie.
How are you making out as a family? I mean, there's a new addition right there with your daughter. I mean,
That's Blake,
tough.
by the way, who's 16 months.
Yeah.
We talk about you and the transition, but it's everybody that's involved in this move, especially your family.
Yeah, it's you know what? It's hard, and I always get a little emotional talking about family, but you know what? We prepared as best we could as a family, and we knew a trade was coming, and we were kind of waiting on the news and did everything we could to prepare. But really, until it happens, you're not really sure how you're going to handle it. And luckily, we have a lot of great help at home, a lot of family support, which is great. But sure do miss the girls. And luckily now we have FaceTime, and we're able to stay in touch every day and see them and be able to see them grow still. So it's still pretty special.
Nice.
I'm guessing, 2-3 FaceTime sessions a day?
Oh, at least, yeah. And they're Blake, our older one, and they're pretty chaotic. She grabs the phone and starts running around, and I get a little dizzy watching.
You and Lauren were married in the summer of 22. Lauren is the daughter of Steve Thomas, who had a successful 20-year career in the NHL. How did you and Lauren meet?
You know what? My a good close friend of mine sent me her Instagram, and I must have sent a lovely message. And look at us now,
Yeah.
There's Steve.
Great pictures, by the way.
That was a special day. It honestly was. Everybody kind of tells you beforehand how special it is, and certainly enjoyed our time there. And having Steve as a father-in-law is certainly great.
Has he helped you in hockey at all? You guys talk shop a little bit?
We do a little bit sometimes. Yeah, he. We've been living together lots the last couple of years, so
little pointers here and
there is lots of hockey to talk about. But we do have a lot of fun. And her brother plays over in the Austrian League right now. They're in playoffs, so a lot of hockey in the family.
Awesome.
Jen, who is pretty good on NHL history, her handle is NHL History Girl. I don't so much have a question as I have a relevant photo.
There you go. Look at that.
I don't know if you can tell, but the entire stick is taped in electrical tape from top to bottom.
And the gloves seem to go up to your elbow.
Yeah. Those are those old school gloves. That must have been.
You weren't getting slashed with those things.
No.
All right, let's go back to one of your signature moments in the NHL, maybe your signature goal, the 2012 Eastern Conference Final, overtime Game 6, Louie.
I mean, this is just a massive moment for you. This is your first full year, right?
Yeah, that was first full year. And it, you know what, that was a heck of a ride. Really just tried to find my way, tried to be like a sponge that season and learn, and got to play with some great players that really helped me out in starting my career. And honestly, I couldn't imagine scoring that goal or going to the finals, but just the emotion in it, you see how excited everybody was.
Now, that's what happens in your first full year. You must have thought this is going to be easy getting there every
we're going to the
year.
final every year.
It's been a long time since. Just speak of that and how excited you are now, like you've mentioned before, to be here and have an opportunity to maybe get there again.
Yeah, I mean, as a first-year player, you go on a big run, and you know what? We finished 6th in the standings, I believe, and we just had a solid team. It took a bit to come together and get things rolling, but we did. And then, you know, you just think the whole team comes back the following season, and you're going to do the same thing again, because why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But as a young player, you don't know the business side, I guess, of the game. Contract situations, guys retiring. We did have an older team, but you know, it can turn quickly. I believe the next year was the lockout year, half year. So it's an odd season, and then you kind of go from there. And before you know it, most of those guys on that team going to the finals were gone. So we're kind of in an in-between rebuild for a lot of years of my career, and that's hard to go through as a player. You know, you just want a chance. That's what we play for. And the year I got traded to Anaheim, we made the playoffs, swept in the first round, and you know, it's been a long time since then. And it's great to be able to come back to a team that has aspirations of winning the Stanley Cup.
One of the reasons we asked about that overtime goal is it produced a great celebration photo. Do you still get these in the mail with requests for autographs?
I do, and you know what? It puts a smile on my face every time I see it.
Unreal. Elation on your face, devastation on the other one.
I couldn't grow the full beard yet either. I was too young, so I had to go with the goatee that playoff run.
Okay, our next topic is fighting. I think hockey fights in your career has you listed at about 14, so that would be one fight a year. What have you learned about fighting in the NHL, going back to the very first scrap you had against Jerome McGinley in January of 2012?
Yeah, it was... you know what? I got a good, clean hit on him, and he's a guy that doesn't take that, so he certainly stands up for himself. But luckily for me, the right before this trip for us, Cam Jansen showed me some pointers of if in case anything ever happens, how to hang on.
Well, you were hanging on pretty good there.
Yeah.
I mean, you picked a pretty darn tough customer for your first time.
Yeah, I don't know if I knew that's who I was hitting.
I don't think you were given a choice, though. After that hit, it was like,
it was on. But you know what? It's a great memory to have now. And I believe we both had a Gordie Howe hat trick that game.
No way. That's
your
great.
love of NASCAR makes you more than a casual fan, and you must be if this is how you sit around watching the TV. This is you. Oh, that's not it. We have the picture, I think, of you
wearing
wearing
the helmet on. I already know it.
Well, all right. We'll go back to that. But you and Sam Carrick got to take a few laps. There you are. Okay. You and Sam Carrick got to take a few laps at the Long Beach Grand Prix last April. We're just looking at video of that. That's actually an IndyCar race. What was that like, and where does your love of the sport come from?
Well, going for a ride in that car is unbelievable. You know, those guys are athletes, and to be in the car and kind of get a bit of an experience of what they go through on a race-to-race basis is pretty neat. You know, my love for it just comes from back home with family, my cousins. Everybody kind of was fans growing up, and you just kind of fall in love with it over the years. So my time in Anaheim, the equipment managers, we managed to find some connections in NASCAR with the Spire Motorsports Group and Corey LaJoy and those guys. So I've had opportunities to meet them and be in the pits for races and in the garage, and actually go to their shop too in this past summer in Charlotte. So that was pretty special for me, and got to do it with my brothers and a bunch of guys from back home too that all enjoy it.
You're from Burford, Ontario. It's 90 minutes southwest of Toronto. And Brendan Montour is from Brantford, which is right next to Burford. You were one-time teammates in Anaheim, and that friendship has spilled over into the Henrique Montour Foundation, which has run for the last 3 years a pretty successful golf tournament. Tell us how the foundation is making a difference in and around your hometowns.
Well, it's something we've kind of talked about for years, and again with a lot of family support back home, where we're able to put this together, and it's really taken off the last couple of years. You see it, we both have kids now, and so it really is a family thing. And for all the people in Burford that have supported me through my career, all the people around Brantford and the reservations too that have supported Monty, it means a lot to the both of us to have an opportunity to give back. And, that money goes to a lot of different places around both of our hometowns. And it's certainly a lot of fun to go back and raise funds and see the family support that we get at the tournament every year.
The family business in Burford is tobacco farming. Your mother is Teresa. Your father, Joe, runs the farm. And Joe told you and your brothers at one point, you can prime tobacco, or you can find something that you like, something you enjoy more, that pays more, and you did. But you did do sometime, I think a couple of summers as a kid, priming tobacco leaves. How hard was that job?
It's no fun. And you know what? I'd love to invite anybody out who wants to give it a crack. But it's, that's, really the foundation of me as a person and a player comes from my dad and the work ethic that he taught us when we were young. And we didn't really have a choice. We were out there helping out. And
holding up 80-pound, 90-pound bags at the end of the day?
Oh, yeah. They're tough. They're trying to throw them over your head and lift them up. And you know what? I don't think I was Dad's favorite employee. I was usually slept in and late. And my brother Mike might have been number one.
We do have an exclusive picture of you at work on the farm. Which one are you here?
I'm probably sleeping still.
All I could think of is stomping Tom Connors.
Yep, absolutely.
Pilsenberg, right? My back still aches when I hear that word. No, but it made you realize hockey's the way to go.
It does. And you know what? Like growing up, your parents, I have three brothers driving everybody all over the place, going to tournaments here and there. And I just prayed that I had a hockey game when we had work in the tobacco field, so I got to miss work.
Perfect. Well, you've made okay with your alternative choice, which is hockey. Adam, thanks very much. Good to have you on the program. I know how much you look forward to being traded to a Canadian team, so you could be on After Hours. It was worth the wait for us. I hope for you as well.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I've watched the show many times.
Okay.